Now, I'm sad to say, but I feel like this has become a yearly stick on the ice classic at this point. The New York Rangers are complete and utter frauds. I don't know what is wrong with this team, except I do. You are incredibly slow. You play atrocious defense, some of the worst defense in the entire league, and the only reason you guys aren't a bottom 5 team is because of Igor Shesterkin and Jonathan Quick. Granted, the past couple games Jonathan Quick's played, that man has got absolutely lit up, but I don't believe it's his fault. Actually, it's not that I don't believe it's his fault, I know it's not his fault. You are leaving these two goaltenders out to dry right now. Igor Shesterkin and Jonathan Quick can't make enough saves. You are constantly letting these boys down. I'm recording this the day after you lost to the Chicago Blackhawks, the worst team in the NHL. How are the New York Rangers losing to the Chicago Blackhawks? That shouldn't be possible right now. There is no reason this team right here should be losing to the Chicago Blackhawks. It just shouldn't be happening. So I'm taking over as the Rangers GM. I'm rebuilding this team, and we're going to get incredibly aggressive right off the bat here. If you are eligible to be traded, there is no reason why I won't trade you. Except for maybe Adam Fox. He might be the only untouchable piece here, I'm not going to lie. So Adam Fox, I might hold on to you. Everyone else is eligible to be traded here. Maybe Lafreniere will be untouchable as well. Okay, I'm changing my thought process a little bit. Lafreniere, Adam Fox, you guys are probably the only untouchable pieces. Trocheck, I mean, you have a no movement clause, literally nothing I can do. But Chris Kreider, Braden Schneider, Keandre Miller, Philip Hedl, Ryan Lindgren, Will Cooley, all of you guys are eligible to be traded. All of these picks we have, eligible to be traded. I'm going to do everything in my power to make this a competent team. Now, I feel like I should mention right off the rip here, this is not going to be realistic whatsoever. I am not going to make realistic trades with the New York Rangers. However, I'm going to make this team good, and that's really all that matters. So in saying that, Adam Fox, you're a great defenseman, one of the best in the entire game. You're a 92 overall. I could trade you for Miro Heiskanen, who's a 91 overall. Miro Heiskanen has significantly less trade value. So if I were to package up Miro Heiskanen alongside Logan Stankoven and Thomas Harley, would this deal be possible to get done? I'm going to offer this package over to Dallas. They're saying no to it. But you know what? A couple picks might change their mind. But maybe instead of a couple picks, we just throw a couple young guys into this deal. I mean, Riley Smith, honestly, I wouldn't mind trying to ditch you in this deal. We get rid of that contract. Dallas would be over the salary cap, so that's not really ideal here. We could go with Jimmy Vesey, even Capo Caco, but Capo Caco, I actually want to hold on to you. Actually, no, I don't. We're going to get rid of Capo Caco. I'm going to send this package over. They're saying no. A couple picks should make the difference. So not only are we going to get two elite defensemen in this deal, but we're also getting a great young player in Logan Stankoven. We got to change something up here. Now, we're going to have to change the deal slightly just because we're unable to get Thomas Harley in this deal. However, this isn't the end of the world. Miro Heiskanen, Logan Stankoven, Mason Marchment. Mason Marchment, we could hold on to you for one season, then trade you away in the future. They're going to be saying no to that deal, but Capo Caco could be thrown into this deal. Like Capo Caco, I'm not scared to trade you here, so I'm going to throw you into this package. We're going to offer this over. They say we just need a little bit more, so a 7th rounder will make the difference. So I guess the real question is this deal worth it? We get a really good defenseman in the deal. We get 2 upgrades to the forward core, Logan Stankoven and Mason Marchment. Logan Stankoven will have to be paid a bag in the future, so I mean, that's not going to help us too much here, but we do at least have him for the next 2 seasons. Mason Marchment, we have him under contract for the next 2 seasons at 4.5. He's an 86 overall. He could be a great second line guy for us. Worst case scenario, we trade him away next season, but this is the deal we're doing. We are changing things up here. A 7th rounder is not enough. Maybe a 5th rounder will be. We got to spark something for this New York Rangers team. Nobody is off the table. If I'm willing to trade Adam Fox, I'm willing to trade every player on this team. We got to win right now. Apparently, I just need to sweeten the value just a touch. I've gone from a 7th rounder to a 3rd rounder, and it's still not enough. We do have a couple young players, so I'll have to throw one of them into this deal, and it's still not enough. Okay, we have to go back to the drawing board a little bit. And honestly, it might just be this. Instead of Capo Caco, we do Will Cooley. So I'm going to offer this package over. It's a little bit low. Then a couple picks should make the difference. So here's the 4th rounder from the Anaheim Ducks. Please say yes to this, Dallas. There we go. Adam Fox has been traded. One of the best players on the Rangers had to be traded in a deal like this. But you know what? We got to spark something here. I don't care what it takes. We gotta do something. Now, I forgot to update Igor Shesterkin's contract after he signed that new 8-year extension at $11.5 million. So I'm just gonna give him that exact same extension right here. In the game, he's only looking for 7.7 for the next 7 years, and that would be incredible for us. But you know what? We gotta make this somewhat realistic, even though I just traded Adam Fox away. So Shesterkin, here's $11.5 million for the next 8, a no movement clause. you're sticking around. That is basically the only realistic thing we're going to see in today's video. So the Boston Bruins are up next, and Chris Kreider, you're on the chopping block here. 6.5 for the next 3 years. Although you're still an 87 overall, I can't commit that to you right now. Ryan Lindgren, you're also going to be moved in this deal because I don't need you to play on our left side. We're going to include a first rounder in this deal. Brandon Carlos joined the team. Pavel Zacha is going to join the team, and Trent Frederick is. We're getting 2 pretty solid players on reasonable contracts. Trent Frederick, don't know what your extension is going to look like. Hopefully we're going to be able to keep you on this team. I'm going to send this package over to Boston. They're accepting immediately. That's just a deal we had to do around here. We had to free up a bit more money. When it comes to extensions, of course, Keandre Miller has to come back here. He's going to be a great second pairing defenseman for us. And you know what? This price tag is actually not too bad. $4.5 million for the next 2 years. I think that's pretty reasonable. I actually give him $4.525 million. I mean, who really cares? Same difference. But yeah, Keandre Miller will return to this team. Trent Frederick, where you can be looking for? You're going to be a bottom 6 player for us. 2.5 is a bit too much for me, if I'm being honest. Riley Smith, I can guarantee you're going to walk here. Capo Caco, I would like to keep you around, but I think we're just going to move you. Jimmy Vesey, Zach Jones, Vakananen, you're all probably walking as well. Now, I think we could use a bit more defensive help, and Kesselring could be a great third pairing defenseman for us. Sakura's going to be given up in this deal, but you know what? It's going to be worth it. Kesselring, I need you to play some third pairing minutes. I need you to be a lockdown guy in the third pairing for us. That's literally your only job here. I'll throw a 5th rounder in the deal as well, and we're going to be able to get this one done. So the defense is getting another massive improvement, but we're still not done with the trades. Now, I wouldn't mind getting a little bit younger with a guy like Niels Höglander. He's only 22 years old, I think, maybe 23. 23 years old for Niels Höglander. He's an 82 overall. He can be a great bottom 6 piece for us. Jimmy Vesey, truthfully, I don't really know if you fit the timeline of this team anymore. You're 31 years old. I don't think you're going to help us win a Stanley Cup. Höglander, on the other hand, he definitely will. Vakananen, you're going to be traded away. We just got you from the Anaheim Ducks, but you know what? You don't have a role on this team anymore. We picked up Kesselring. He's going to play on the right side. We'll have Zach Jones play on the left side. So this is the deal we're going to make. I'll throw a 5th rounder into this one as well. That's just a little bit low though. So this 7th from the New York Rangers will definitely be the answer here. Niels Höglander, welcome to the team. So here's what the team's looking like. Zibanejad and Mason Marchment, Artemi Panarin are going to be staying on the first line. Then we're going to have Logan Stankoven, Trocheck, and Lafreniere on the second. We're going to see a bit more forward depth here. Pavel Zacha is going to be joining the team. We're going to have Trent Frederick. We're going to have Niels Höglander. That's definitely going to be helping us a ton. When it comes to the defense, we have Miro Heiskanen, Brandon Carlo, Schneider, Kesselring. This is actually a pretty solid defense. We're going to give Shesterkin and Quick a lot more support here. And then when it comes to goaltending, as I just mentioned, we have Shesterkin, we got Jonathan Quick. Jonathan Quick, it's your last season with the team. You're 38 years old. I shouldn't really say that though, because if you're incredible this season, I'll bring you back at 39 years old. We have 2 guys that we can rely on here. We just need the defense to step up in these big time moments. Now, although we don't have a ton of assets to work with, I am going to stop in at the trade deadline because you know what? I feel like we're almost forced to make trades. With how this New York Rangers team has started, we got to do something to spark some offense and some defense. Literally, we have to spark everything. So what an absolute surprise. The New York Rangers are complete and utter frauds, and they're disappointing me. 8th in the entire league, a 36, 18, and 8 record. Not bad by any means, but certainly should be better. The offense has been very mid. The defense, it's been mid as well. This team is just incredibly mid. Nobody's leading the way here. Panarin, 62 points in 62 games. Can't really complain about that. Zibanejad, find the back of the net a little bit more here. I need you to score me some goals. Like 19 goals in 62 games isn't necessarily bad by any means, but it's the fact that you've taken 24 more shots than you did last season and you've scored 7 less goals. Your shooting percentage has dropped by 4%. Like, bro, just find the back of the net for me. Your shooting percentage has really dropped off that much. Vincent Trocheck's been solid. Miro Heiskanen's not been bad. But Mason Marchment, I need you to be a bit better for me. 42 points just isn't good enough on that top line. Lafreniere's -1. The second line's letting me down. How is Riley Smith one of our best players right now? Yeah, it doesn't make any sense, but he will be traded away. We're going to get some young assets for him. Igor Shesterkin, 26 wins, a 909 to 294. And then look at Jonathan Quick, a 931 to 214. No, this team's got to be winning more games than what we are. Let's make some trades here. We're improving the bottom 6 a little bit. I think the defense and goaltending is going to stay mostly the same here, but we are going to make a handful of changes. All right, so here's what we're looking at here. We want to get younger. Riley Smith, obviously you're not the answer for us. So Riley Smith, 2 6-rounders and a 7's going to be sent over to Calgary. All we're going to have left is our first round pick for next season. We're going to get Samuel Honzek, good young player, should develop for us, and he'll be able to jump to the line next season, maybe even this season. We'll also get Connor Zary. He fits on the bottom 6. He can play his role here. All I need Connor Zary to do is play his role here. Unfortunately, this package isn't going to be enough, but we got some more assets we can work with. And I actually lied. We do have one more pick we can throw in, and that's a 3rd rounder. So hopefully the 3rd rounder is going to be enough, but it doesn't look like it. Now, I don't want to trade all of our young assets away here, but you know what? We might might have to here. Sam Carrick, you know what? I could just throw you in this deal. Sam Carrick will probably make the difference. I take that back. No, he will not. So I guess we're going to have to do something like this. It's going to be Riley Smith and 2 6-rounders for Connor Zary. They're really not willing to accept that. I am giving you more than enough when it comes to value. Here's a 7th round pick as well. Just say yes to this deal. Y'all are bugging. I really have to give up a 3rd rounder to get this deal done. Here's a 3rd rounder and here's a 6th rounder. Calgary, you better accept this. You are finessing me and I don't even care. I just want to get this deal done. Please give me Connor Zary. This is more than enough for Connor Zary. Granted, who really wants that Riley Smith contract? Absolutely nobody, but we did get a young player who's going to be sticking around with us in the future, and that's all that matters. We need players that are going to be on this team next season, and that's what we got in Connor Zary. Now, before we get ahead of ourselves, there are a couple guys that want extensions. Trent Frederick being one of them. He wants $2.5 million, but we only have $2.7 in cap space. So, I mean, I guess we'll just see what everyone else is asking for here. Capo Caco wants $2.8, so he's not returning to the team. Connor Zary, I feel like we can get you for pretty cheap here. You want $2.3, but you're looking at a 3-year deal. I can definitely do that. So we'll do 2.2 with Connor Zary for the next 3 years. He'll stay with the team, and then once the salary cap goes up, we should be able to bring Trent Frederick back. Also, we might as well just see what Jonathan Quick's asking for. $2 million. We just can't do that. We just don't have the cap space right now. Now, the New Jersey Devils had a solid finish to the season. We're finishing 6th with a 47, 25, and 10 record, so definitely better than what the New York Rangers are doing this season. That's a fact. 3.3 goals per game. I'm kind of hoping for a bit more, but the defense is pretty solid. Actually, I take it back. The defense looked kind of mid. Is this team just mid? Do they just trick us every single season by thinking they're really good, but in reality, they're actually pretty mid? I think that's what's happening here. Artemi Panarin, 85 points. Zibanejad, 79. Miro Heiskanen, 72. Vincent Trocheck, 67. The offense did produce. I mean, we had great depth scoring through our entire lineup, so I can't really complain too much about that. When it comes to goaltending, Shesterkin did his thing. I don't like the fact that we're paying this man $11.5 million for the next 8 years, though. Not a big fan of that deal. I'm going to be completely honest, but you know what? He is one of the best goaltenders in the league. He deserves his bag, but maybe not $11.5 million. $11.5 million will only get you so far when the defense in front of you is absolutely atrocious, and we've seen that with the New York Rangers. We're taking on a rival in the New Jersey Devils. 2 great teams battling it out here. The Rangers need to bring their A game here or they don't stand a chance. So I need absolute perfection from the New York Rangers. If we want to win a Stanley Cup, we can't have any defensive faults here. We can't have any offensive faults. We need to be perfect in every aspect of the game, and we've been absolutely perfect so far, winning every single game 3-2. 3 of those games heading to overtime. We really swept the Devils. Okay, maybe this team's actually good. So after that incredible sweep in the first round that I didn't think would even be possible for the New York Rangers, we're going to be moving on to the second round here. We got the Washington Capitals up next. They just went to 7 games. Those boys might be a little bit exhausted, so we have to come out the gate hot here. So we got to come out absolutely flying here. The New York Rangers can't drop game number 1. Whatever you do, don't drop game number 1. Are we going to go 16-0 in the postseason? This team might go 16-0. We are 8-0. We are yet to lose a postseason game. We're off to the conference finals, and you know what? I'm simulating right to the conference finals. There is no reason the New York Rangers should be dominating this much, but you know what? The boys are absolutely flying. We have the Tampa Bay Lightning up next. Unfortunately, we are finally going to be losing a game here. We ended up losing back-to-back games, but you know what? We're still in the series. It's a best-of-3 moving on. Game 5 is going to be incredibly important. We lost that one 7-1. We might be frauds. Now, like in 2 of the games we've lost, we allowed 8 goals in game number 2 and then 7 goals in game number 5. Are the New York Rangers complete and utter frauds here? We're going to have to show up in this game to prove we're not frauds. The fact that we're being led by defensive defenseman Brandon Carlo right now tells me everything I need to know. This team's not going to produce when it matters. Mason Marchman, you picked up a goal in this game, but it doesn't matter. We shouldn't be relying on Brandon Carlo to be scoring in elimination games. Where is Panarin? Where is Zibanejad? Where is Lafreniere? Where is Vincent Trocheck? Where are all these players? Because they're not showing up for us. Brandon Carlo is, though. So in the big time games where we needed the big time players, they didn't show up. Okay, Zibanejad did have 7 points in the postseason. He was scoring. Stankoven was actually pretty solid. Lafreniere was okay. Panarin was great. Even Vincent Trocheck. So basically every single player I called out showed up in every game except for the final game. So yeah, that's tough. Pavel Zacha was -7. Connor Zary was -6, so that's not really ideal here. Brandon Carlo had 4 points in the postseason. He had 1 goal, and that lone goal came in Game 6 elimination. In the biggest game, he stepped up when he had to. Igor Shesterkin, an 897 and a 317. Yeah, that's why we lost. Bro might have been absolutely elite in the first 2 rounds. That conference finals, though, That was disappointing. Incredibly disappointing. The Vancouver Canucks are Stanley Cup champions. We have absolutely no picks to work with, so there's no point in us even stopping at the draft here. We have to start worrying about next season and whether or not we're going to be able to keep everyone around. Okay, now this is certainly going to help our cause. The cap went up like $7 million. So yeah, Trent Frederic, we might be able to bring you back here. 2.4 for the next 3. We can make this happen. So Trent Frederic, 2.3 for the next 3 years. That's a pretty fair deal for you. Capo Caco, I'm going to be honest. I'm on the verge of trading you. Like, I just don't want to pay you $3.4 million. I'll qualify you as an RFA and we'll trade you away. But yeah, I'm not giving you $3.4 million. Zach Jones is a third pairing defenseman. Honestly, you fill your role here. And $1.5 million for the next 2, I can live with that. So Zach Jones will come back to the team. Trent Frederic's going to come back. Capo Caco is going to be traded away here. With the rest of these players, if they're willing to sign 2-way contracts, I'll bring them back to the team. When it comes to goaltending, I mean, Jonathan Quick, what are you looking for here? Are you looking for something reasonable? $1.9 million isn't atrocious. I just don't know if I want to do it. You know what? You were a great goaltender. $1.8 million. Jonathan Quick's coming back to the team. He's 39 years old, but you know what? He performs when it matters. So this is where things are going to get really interesting. Artemi Panarin, we have to give you an extension right now, and you're looking for $11.4 million. If I give you $11 million, that's going to leave us with $9 million in cap space. With that $9 million, we need Mason Marchment, Schneider, and Logan Stankoven to all sign. I don't think that's going to be possible, so Mason Marchment, I think we might be trading you away here. I don't see you sticking on this team. Braden Schneider, what are you going to be looking for here? This is reasonable. So Braden Schneider is going to stick around. He'll be here for the rest of the rebuild. We'll do $4.8 million for the next 6 seasons. That's going to keep him around for sure. Logan Stankoven, you're a good young player. I want to keep you on this team, and at this price tag, it's definitely going to be worth it. So we'll do $4.5 million maybe. We could probably get $4.5 million done. So that's what we'll do with Logan Stankoven. That's $4.5 million. And you know what? Because of the Braden Schneider deal, we actually might be able to keep Artemi Panarin on this team. So if we did $10.5 for Artemi Panarin, we probably could keep him here. We actually might be able to do sub $10 million. Like if I did $10 million exactly and gave you no movement, would you be willing to accept that? He would probably accept $10 million. You're 33 years old. You're only going to be getting worse. But you know what? We have 4 years left in the rebuild. Artemi Panarin, you're sticking around with the team. So all that leaves us with is Mason Marchment, who will probably have to trade away here. We just have to free up money. Or do we just ride out Mason Marchment's contract? Or do we just pray for a miracle that we'll have enough money to re-sign him next season? There's a handful of things we could do. Like once the salary cap goes up, are we going to have enough money? Then again, we could trade Vincent Trocheck away. And that's what we're going to do. Vincent Trocheck, we're going to trade you away. Actually, we could trade Pavel Zacha away. Because Vincent Trocheck was actually really good on the second line for us. And I want to keep him on the team, especially at $5.6 million. So yeah, Vinny Trocheck, we're going to keep you around. But Pavel Zacha, you're going to be traded away. And then your money's going to go to Mason Marchment. Alright, so this is what I'm looking at. Chinikov and a third rounder from the Columbus Blue Jackets. We give up Pavel Zacha. And then with that freed up money, we're going to be able to keep Mason Marchment on the team. So that's an absolute no-brainer. We might be dropping 2 overalls there. But with the way Mason Marchment played last season, of course, I want to keep him on the team. However, $6 million, I'm not really too sure if I want to do that. How about 5.5 for Mason Marchment? We can do 5.5 for him, and then Panarin's going to return to the team. We'll keep everyone on the team here, and we're going to be in a great spot heading into this upcoming season. So this is what we're going to do with Capo Caco. Since he wants $3 million, I'll trade you over to the Anaheim Ducks. We'll get Lundstrom, and he's only getting paid $1.6 million. So we'll definitely be able to keep him on the team for this season and next season. I'll include a 7th round pick in this deal, and I think that should be enough. So just like that, I think we have everyone under contract that we need for this upcoming season. So although we're keeping a majority of the team around, I do think we're in a better spot. Mason Marchment's even better this season. I'm expecting he's going to have a big season. Lafreniere's up to an 87 overall. Logan Stankoven's an 86. We got him locked down for the future. Vincent Trocheck continues to be that top guy on the second line. And you know what? With him leading the way, I think we're going to see a lot of success. The bottom 6 is looking pretty strong here. And just look at that defense. Miro Heiskanen, a 94 overall. Brandon Carlo, an 87. Keandre Miller, an 86. Braden Schneider, an 86. We have no weaknesses when it comes to the defense. That's in an amazing spot. And with us having an amazing defense in front of Igor Shesterkin, there's no team that should be able to stop us. But if I'm being completely honest, there was no team that could compete with us up until the conference finals. Then Tampa Bay happened. And we're not going to talk about that. A 37-21-4 record's amazing. 6th in the entire league. Granted, I think last year we actually had a better record at this point, but that's neither here nor there. We were averaging 3.19 goals per game. The defense, really good. But 3.19 goals per game is definitely not good enough. Look at literally every other competitive team in the league. We have one of the worst offenses compared to everyone else. We have to start scoring goals here, and it has to come from players not on our top line. I take that back. It has to come from players not named Artemi Panarin and Mika Zibanejad. Mika Zibanejad's also got that shooting percentage up, so he's looking a lot better. But yeah, everyone outside of those top 2 guys, not performing. I don't know why we can't find the back of the net. We just can't right now. Brandon Carlo, you're here to play defense. You know what? You're playing your role here. Igor Shesterkin, 30 wins, 2 shots, a 915 and 270. Somebody score some goals for me. I need somebody else on this team that can find the back of the net. And I think we're going to have to trade for somebody that can find the back of the net, because right now it's getting ridiculous. I mean, now that I look at the team, I think we actually do have goal scorers here, but everyone's having a career low season. Like Logan Stankoven shooting 7.2% this season, basically a 5% drop off from last season. Let's go over to Lafreniere. What's Lafreniere doing? He went from 10.6% to 9.4%, so a 1% drop. Let's move over to Vincent Trocheck. What's he doing? Dropped from 9.7% to 8.6%. Our entire second line's shooting percentage dropped off, and if you combine all those percentages, it basically dropped by like 4 or 5%. If you're going to be seeing that big of a fall off on your second line, it's no surprise that we're not scoring goals here. But when it comes to actually making trades, what do we do? Because I don't want to trade Stankoven away. I don't want to trade Lafreniere. I don't want to trade Trocheck. Actually, trading Trocheck might not be the worst thing in the world here, because he did drop from an 87 overall to an 86. His trade value is still decently high. We probably should make a move here. Alright, so there's two guys I'm looking at right now. Mason McTavish and Cutter Gaucher. Cutter Gaucher has a contract for this season. Then he got an extension for the next 2 at $5.6 million. So we'll have him for 3 of the final 4 years. Or we go with a guy like Mason McTavish, who we're guaranteed to have for the rest of the rebuild, but he's getting paid $6.2 million. It's about a $600K difference. So you know what, Mason McTavish, we're going to try to bring you to the team. We're giving up Vincent Trocheck, so it's $1 million more. It's actually not even $1 million more. It's literally $600K more. We're going to try to go 1 for 1 here. They're saying no, but Mason McTavish is going to bring you to the team, and you're going to help that second line. The second line needs a lot of help right now, and I want Mason McTavish to be the difference maker. They're saying no to this package right here. I'll throw in our first round pick for this season, and I believe this should be enough. Okay, Anaheim's bugging. Like, this should be more than enough right here. I'll throw 2 third-rounders into the deal. Y'all got to accept this. The fact that you're not accepting it's ridiculous. Okay, I might be cooking something up here. Vincent Trocheck and a 3rd-round pick over to Boston. Give me 2 first-round picks. With those 2 first-rounders, I'm going to flip them over to Anaheim. So this is what we're going to do. 3 first-round picks over to the Anaheim Ducks. We bring in Mason McTavish. He's going to fill the role that Vincent Trocheck filled. They're not saying yes to 3 first-rounders. I'll do 4 first-rounders. 4 first-rounders seems absolutely wild, but you know what? But I need Mason McTavish on this team, and you know what? We're going to be getting him. 4 first-round picks. 2 for this season, 2 for next season. Granted, our first round pick's not going to have that much value. The real question is, what's Boston going to turn into? So after the trade deadline, I'm happy to say the offense definitely picked up. We're second in the entire league, a 53, 25, and 4 record, but 3.35 goals per game. Although that doesn't look that great, considering where we were at the trade deadline, it's definitely improved a lot here. Even the defense is better. I guess trading Vincent Trocheck was something we had to do here. Artemi Panarin, 107 points. Mika Zibanejad, 94. Neuro Heiskanen, 67. Mason McTavish, I'm curious to see what you did since joining the team here. Apparently you had 67 points. That is just not correct. I know it says you played the entire year for us. There we go. The numbers are right now. 14 points in 20 games. He was +7. That makes a bit more sense here. When I first saw that number, I saw it was for the entire year, so obviously that didn't make sense. But yeah, those are decent numbers from Mason McTavish. Shesterkin continues to look phenomenal for us, but the postseason is where it's going to matter here. We're taking on the Buffalo Sabres in the first round. We're not losing to the Buffalo Sabres. I can tell you right now, we're not losing to that franchise. Like, truthfully, I don't know who's a bigger disappointment, the Buffalo Sabres or the New York Rangers. I would say this season, the New York Rangers are a bigger disappointment. However, over the past decade, obviously it's the Buffalo Sabres. That team has done absolutely nothing in the past decade, and they should be significantly better than what they are. I don't know if this team can't draft. I don't know if it's head coaching. Actually, I know it's terrible head coaching. Lindy Ruff is not the man. After I watched game number 1 for the Buffalo Sabres, I was like, yep, that solidifies my belief. Lindy Ruff is not a good head coach anymore. He just isn't. Also, we're about to lose here, but shout out to Mason McTavish for picking up a ton of goals. It is a 2-goal game, though. Yeah, we're winning this one 7-4. Shout out to Mason McTavish. He picked up a hat trick. But yeah, we're still facing elimination. We were down 3-1 in the series. I'm trying to rip into Lindy Ruff right now, but they're actually beating us in the series. We are not losing to the Buffalo Sabres. I refuse to let that happen here. The New York Rangers are going to find a way to win. We're moving into game 6. We're splitting goals in the first period. In the second period, we're going to be taking over, so we should win this game. That's exactly what's going to happen. We're forcing game 7. So here we go, game 7. Panarin and Zibanejad are going to start us off with 2 goals. Then we're going to pick up a ton of goals in the second period. The offense is woken up for this team. If we're going to keep on scoring goals like this, no team's going to compete with us. The Buffalo Sabres blew a 3-1 series lead, and we're off to the second round. And with 3 straight wins, I don't want to stop. We got the New Jersey Devils up next. New Jersey's definitely going to have a chip on their shoulder. We took them out in a sweep last postseason, so we better be prepared for them. We're picking up 6 goals in game number 1. The offense just won't stop for this team. Is it going to be a sweep over the New Jersey Devils? finals, nah, that team can't compete with us. They're absolute frauds. We have won 7 straight games, but last postseason we had won 8 straight games heading into the conference finals, and we had to take on this team right here, the Tampa Bay Lightning. We're going to be the team that has a chip on their shoulder, and we're going to win this matchup. 6 goals in game number 1. The boys are flying right now. 7 goals in game number 4. That was a huge one, but we have to close it out right here. We need to win one of these next 3. Y'all better not blow a 3-1 series lead. Whatever you do, do not blow a 3-1 series lead. We can't do this. We're not losing to the Tampa Bay Lightning in back-to-back postseasons. We can't do this. I need the offense to wake up here. Somebody score a goal. Zibanejad, Trent Frederick, thank you for picking up goals, but we need great defense in the third period, and in the third period, we blew it. We allowed 3 unanswered and we lost in game 7. 1 game away from the Stanley Cup final, and y'all couldn't close it out. We blew a 3-1 series lead. In the final 3 games, we scored 4 goals combined. In game number 4, we scored 7. In game number 1, we scored 6. Ain't no way the offense dried up like that. Why does this team give me so much hope and then just completely fold when it matters most? Tampa's winning the Stanley Cup here. The salary cap's going up. What happened? What happened to this team right here? Offensively, we were looking good, and then it all vanished. Every little bit of offense vanished when it mattered most. We had great scoring depth here. Goaltending was pretty solid. I mean, you had a 921 and a 272. The fact that you had a 921 and that resulted in a 272 is actually wild. Like, let me just look at some of the other goaltenders. Like, Vasilevsky had a 922 and he had a 249. We had a 921 and a 272. Like, that's a pretty significant difference when the save percentage were virtually the exact same. Shesterkin, we let you down, plain and simple. The offense didn't step up in those final 3 games. Alright, so we had some amazing drafting here. Like, we got this great prospect, no draft data. He's a pretty good guy, you know what? I think he's got franchise potential. It's only low franchise, but you know what? He might develop into something. Hopefully, we just got a superstar there. Now, when it comes to the re-sign phase, things might be a little bit difficult. We have $5.4 million to work with. Chinakhov, Kesselring, I'd like to keep both of you on the team, but I'm not too sure if we're going to have the money to do so. Like, Chinakhov himself wants $3.6 million. I don't know if I can do that. But Kesselring's not going to make it any easier for me. He wants 4.7, so I think we're just going to qualify both of these guys and then flip them. Okay, I'm actually really surprised at this, but Jonathan Quick's accepting the offer I gave him. I gave him like $300K less than what he was looking for. So yeah, he's going to stick around for $1.1 million. He's going to be our backup. All right, now we have a tough decision to make here. Brandon Carlo or Keandre Miller. Which of these 2 guys is going to stay with the team? I think it's going to be whoever asks for the least amount of money. Brandon Carlo, he's looking for $6 million. Keandre Miller, I feel like he's going to be looking for like 8 or 9 million. He's looking for 7. I think we got to go with Brandon Carlo here. He's a great defensive defenseman. We're going to be able to do a semi-reasonable deal here. Like 5.5 million is probably the best we could do here, but I highly doubt we'll be able to do that. What if I give him a no movement? Yeah, he's not even going to accept that. So how about we do 5.75 million? Even that's not enough. Okay, Brandon Carlo, I'm going to basically give you exactly what you're looking for. I'll give you $6 million for the next 5 years. You'll be accepting that contract. Then we just got to figure out what we're going to do with the rest of the team. Zach Jones, I would certainly like to keep you around. You've been a good third pairing defenseman for us. And you know what? 2.4 million, that's actually not a bad deal. So 2.4 for Zach Jones, and he'll stick around for the rest of the rebuild. But Keandre Miller, I think we're going to have to trade you away here. Okay, so here's what I'm looking at. Keandre Miller and Chinakhov sent over to the Red Wings. We bring in Edvinsson. He's under contract for the next 3 years at $6 million. He's an 87 overall. It's a bit cheaper than what Keandre Miller's looking for. And Edvinsson, I think you're going to be a great defenseman for us. So I'm going to send this package over. They're saying no. What else do you want? We can't do first round picks because I already traded them away, but I could give you a second rounder. So hopefully this second round pick is going to be enough here. They're saying it's a little bit low. How about a third rounder as well? Half the time these teams are even saying it's a little bit low. I'm just assuming it's a little bit low. Now it's officially a little bit low for them. So here's a 7th round pick, and that should be enough. Edvinsson, welcome to the team. Now he's got to pick up some guys for the bottom 6. So we have a couple pieces to fill in this team, and you know what? We got to pick up a third pairing defenseman, and this guy would be perfect for us. Sam Malinsky, it's going to be $800K for the next 2 years. You're going to play your role in the third pairing, and that's going to be a really good contract for you. Now we have $3.8 million to work with, and we do have to finish out our 4th line here. So whoever we can find on a cheap contract is going to be brought to the team. So the first guy coming to the team is going to be Adam Lowry. That's going to be $1.4 million for 1 season. Up next is going to be Boquist, and it's just under $1.1 million for the next 2 years. To be a 4th line player, I can pay you that contract. Now we are going to make one more trade before heading into next season. Kesselring's off to the Seattle Kraken. Berkeley Catton's going to be brought in $975K. That's a great deal for us. So in back-to-back seasons now, we've lost to the Tampa Bay Lightning. So what are we going to do that makes a lot of sense? Well, this team right here basically played last season like like it's 99% the exact same team. So what are we hoping for? Well, we're going to hope that this exact team that lost to the Tampa Bay Lightning last season is going to beat the Tampa Bay Lightning this season. We are going to run it back with the majority of the exact same players. Like, there's a few changes to the bottom 6 in the third pairing, but the top 6 is looking the exact same. Even the third line is looking 99% the same. Hoglander, Trent Frederick, Berkeley Cattons joined the team here, but basically our top 9 is the exact same. Our defense, the exact same. Goaltending, the exact same. But we're going to get a different result. Is this insanity? Absolutely. But you know what? Sometimes you got to be insane to outsane. You saying? If you don't know what I was referencing the greatest show of all time, Regular Show. I'm pretty sure that's what Rigby said. Or maybe it was Mordecai. I don't really know. But you got to insane to outsane. You saying? I think. I could just be completely yapping. Hopefully I got that somewhat right. I'm going to look it up. Okay, so I looked it up. Completely said the quote wrong. The quote was, sometimes you have to go insane to outsane the sane. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I got it somewhat right, but I also got it completely wrong. I'm leaving all this in the video. You guys are just going to hear me absolutely yap about Regular Show. The greatest show of all time, and if you have not watched it, I don't know what you're doing. Watch Regular Show. It is a classic. Also, I feel like this is very important to mention. It was Mordecai, not Rigby, who said that. That is very important if you watch Regular Show. It was Mordecai, not Rigby. All right, so things are looking good for the Rangers, 5th in the entire league, a 39-19-4 record. Our offense is way better this season with our goals against looking basically the exact same. So the offense is better. Goaltending's looking great here. Do we have great offense throughout the entire lineup though? No, we do not. The first line's great. The first defensive pairing is great. It's this second line that continues to let me down. But Logan Stankoven, 50 points. You know what? Lafreniere, 47. I'm not going to complain about this. The second line's looking great. As long as these guys step up in the postseason, we'll be good. Shesterkin, keep on doing your thing here. Do we make a trade, though? Like, I don't really know how many assets we have here. What could we trade away in order to bring somebody in? Jared McCann, we might make an all-out push for you. I'm not going to lie. Never mind, we can't trade for you. You have a clause. So we might go from Jared McCann to Lawson Crouse, but I don't really want Lawson Crouse here. I'm going to be completely honest. Troy Terry, that's a no. Thomas Novak, I could bring Tommy Novak to the team. Okay, apparently not, because there is no trades that were found. Tommy Novak, I'd love to bring to the team though. I think you could be a good third line guy for us. But do you fit that third line role? I'm actually not too sure. So considering everything, who is a player that actually makes sense here? Philip Hedl, I mean, I guess we could bring you back to the team. That's not an awful trade. Nyquist, I'm definitely not doing that. David Perron, I'm definitely not doing that. We might not make a deal here. There is no one that's jumping out to me. I take that back, but bro won't join the team. That's it. We're not making a trade. Andre Burakovsky could have joined the New York Rangers and led us to a Stanley Cup. I would have made him captain. I would have made him captain for the rest of the season, but bro's letting me down. He said, nah, I don't want to play for the Rangers. You broke my heart, Andre. How could you do this to me? Okay, now at face value, it looks like we were a really bad team, but we weren't because the league's incredibly competitive. We finished with 102 points. Third is 108. So, I mean, that's a 6-point difference. It was 4 wins. We're looking all right here. Like, we're taking on the Islanders in the first round. You might as well just say we had the exact same record as them. Same amount of wins. They just had more OT losses. We had a better offense, but they had a better defense. It's going to be a close matchup between these two teams. Zibanejad, 88 points. Panarin, 88. Okay, the second line has to step up. If we're going to win a Stanley Cup, the second line has to be better here. Y'all need to play a little bit of defense. Defensively, we were actually really good here. Zach Jones, keep holding it down, my guy. 22 points on the third pairing. I can't complain about that. Shesterkin, you always do your thing in between the pipes, but we need the second line. I'm talking Mason McTavish. I'm talking Logan Stankoven. I'm talking Lafreniere. Y'all three have to lock in. Amazing defense. That's what I need from you. If the offense disappears from you three guys, I actually will be able to live with that as long as you play good defense. Like, the biggest problem with those three guys, they could all finish with 60 plus points, but they're going to be -8 in the process. So when you're on the ice, you're allowing more goals than you're scoring, and that's not going to help us win here. We're losing game number 1. Not really ideal. We're moving into game number 2 here. We got to steal game 2. We got shut out 4-0. We are not getting swept in a series against the Islanders. We're not losing to the Islanders. We're winning game number 3. That's going to be huge for us, and we're winning game 4. Okay, the boys are still in this series. It's a best of 3 moving forward. We have to win this upcoming game, though. Game number 5 is going to be the big one. We're going to be dropping that one. Why do I even have faith in this team at this point? Like, why do I have any hope that we're going to win the important games? Like, no matter what happens, we find a way to choke. The Islanders are picking up the first goal here. Berkeley Catton's going to respond. Where is the stars on this team? Berkeley Catton shouldn't be scoring these goals to tie the game up. Luckily, we're going to win this one, and the stars showed up when it mattered. Zibanejad, Panarin, That's what I'm needing. I need these two guys to step up. I need the second line to play great defense. We're off to game 7. Somebody show up. Berkeley Cat, and you know what? You picked up a massive goal in that game. Zibanejad, Panarin, you picked up some big goals. So it's time for us to rely on Mason McTavish, Logan Stankoven, and Lafreniere. It's time for those 3 to step up when it matters. Stankoven's picking up the first goal. In the second period, we're going to be allowing 2 unanswered. But you know what? Berkeley Cat's picking up another one. A big time performer for us, but we got to steal this game. We're not going to steal it in the third period, but we will in overtime, and it's going to be Edvinsson. Edvinsson's going to lead the way here. He's picking up that overtime winner. We're off to the second round. I'm not going to lie. I'm not feeling too confident with the Rangers right now. We're moving on to the Philadelphia Flyers, one of the best teams in the entire league here. But the star players need to show out here. I don't know what they looked like through the first 5 games because I didn't jump into any of those games. But things aren't looking good so far in the second round. Don't get swept. Whatever you do, don't get swept here. Okay, basically the exact same situation as the Islanders. Let's win game number 5 though. Let's not be facing elimination. All right, we're literally doing the exact same thing we did against the Islanders. It's the exact same as the Islanders. We got to win game number 6 here. Game number 6 is going to be the important one. The big time players are showing up. Mason McTavish. Okay, literally everyone's showing up here. Winning this one 5-1. Not only did the big time players stepped up, but the role players stepped up, and now we got game 7. So game 7 is the one that matters the most. If we win this one, we're off to the conference finals for the 3rd year in a row, but we got to make it there. Lafreniere's picking up a big goal in the first period. Lafreniere's picking up another big goal. Can he do so in the third period? It doesn't look like it, but don't worry because Mason McTavish is going to show up. We're back in the conference finals, and I swear if we have to take on the Tampa Bay Lightning for the 3rd year in a row and we lose to the Tampa Bay Lightning for the 3rd year in a row, I'll lose my mind. We're not getting Tampa Bay, but we are getting another Florida team, so maybe we just struggle with Florida. We're about to find that out. We're dropping game 1, but we're going to respond in game 2. We've won 3 straight games. One more game sends us to the Stanley Cup final. Here we are, the Stanley Cup final. When people counted out the New York Rangers, they defied all the odds, and now we're here, the Stanley Cup final. I need 4 wins. 4 wins out of you guys. Lafreniere, Mason McTavish, Logan Stankoven. I need great defense for 4 wins. Give me that great defense and we'll be Stanley Cup champions 1 game away. We have blown 3-1 series leads before. Give me 1 more game. We did it. The New York Rangers, Stanley Cup champions. We defied all the odds. We won a Stanley Cup. We're not done yet though. It's a 5-year rebuild. We're going for the three-peat now. We won in year number 3. It's time to win in year 4 and year 5. We're bringing the entire team back here. Lafreniere, 20 points. He was +2. Logan Stankoven, 19 points. He was +6. Where's that man Mason McTavish? 15 points, +7. The boys performed. The plus minuses were looking elite here, and so was goaltending. Igor Shesterkin, 16 wins, 2 shots, a 920 and a 253. And the big time moments, of course, we can rely on Igor Shesterkin. And with a better defense in front of him, the team's seen success. We're Stanley Cup champions, but the job's not finished. We have 2 more to win. Also, before we get to the draft, before the salary cap goes up, before anything happens, Lundstrom, 1.1 for the next 2 years. Welcome back. Now, Shesterkin, I want to make this clear right now. This isn't your replacement. He's just a good goaltender we can pick up in the draft here, and he'll be a good trade asset in the future. So we're entering year 4, so all of these extensions that we're going to be giving out are for the final year. So we already have guys like Trent Frederick and Höglander under contract for this upcoming season. The real question is, are we going to be able to afford them for the final season? We have $8.9 million to work with. Trent Frederick's wanting 6. I'm not giving him $6 million, so we're just going to ride out his contract. It's going to be the same situation with Höglander here. He's looking for $6.2 million. I'm not giving him $6.2 million. Berkeley Catton, we should be able to do a reasonable deal with you, and yes, we are. It's going to be $1.8 million for the next 2 years. You're going to be sticking around with the team, and you're going to play some valuable bottom 6 minutes. Boquist, I'm actually not going to re-sign you here, but Connor Zary, I'll re-sign you. You're a great bottom 6 guy for us, but I might take that back. I don't want to give you $2.4 million. We do have 90% of the team under contract. Boquist, I actually could keep you around. We'll do $1 million for the next 2 years. That's actually a pretty solid contract for a bottom 6 guy like yourself. But yeah, when it comes to making trades or basically doing anything with this team, we don't really have to do anything other than bringing Jonathan Quick back. 2 more years at $800K. He has to be the backup for us. If Jonathan Quick really survives all 5 years, that's actually going to be very impressive. I didn't think there was a chance he was here for all 5, but here we are. Now we're going to make 1 free agent signing. Andrew Peak, $1.8 million for the next 3 years. I need you to play some third pairing minutes for us. And at that price tag, it's not too expensive for a third pairing guy such as yourself. Now, doesn't this team look incredibly familiar right here? The exact same team barring 1 player, Andrew Peak. Andrew Beek is the only new player to this team. It's the exact same team, like literally player for player, word for word, bar for bar. It's the exact same team. Shesterkin, Jonathan Quick. Jonathan Quick, unfortunately, has dropped to a 79 overall. All I need you to do is survive the next 2 years. Ride out these next 2 years with us. We'll win you 2 more Stanley Cups, and then you go down as the greatest goaltender of all time. I mean, that might be slightly a stretch because that means you're going to win 3 Stanley Cups with the New York Rangers, and you didn't actually really play that big of an impact in any of them. But that doesn't matter. 2 more Stanley Cups, we complete a three-peat, and that means Jonathan Quick's walking away with 3 Stanley Cups with the New York Rangers. We're doing it for quicker. Okay, so we couldn't catch a break this season. We finished 7th in the entire league, a 50-27-5 record. Now that's really good. What do we get for finishing with a 50-27-5 record? We get the Islanders in the first round again. We were 3rd in our division with 50 wins. Yeah, not too much you can do about that. Panarin's going to lead the way, 104 points. Shout out to Mika Zibanejad. Going back to how many years ago? How many years has it been since he potted 40? Never mind, he has scored 40 the past 2 seasons. Okay, take back exactly what I was about to say there. Yeah, he's been a 40-goal scorer for us. The second line was good, though. Shout out to Logan Stankoven, Lafreniere, Mason McTavish. All of them were plus 20 or higher. Then there was Trent Frederick. We will just ignore that minus 22. When it comes to goaltending, we're just going to ignore the fact that Igor Shesterkin posted a 303 this season. Why was our defense this bad? I don't know, but we have the Islanders in the first round. The boys are coming off a Stanley Cup. We are literally running back with the exact same team, and our defense is significantly worse. But that's okay. We're going to step up in the big moments. Now, normally I would feel concerned with the Rangers, but you know what? We're coming off a Stanley Cup. We're running it back with basically the exact same team. We're going to figure it out when the postseason comes around. This team normally steps up in the important games, and it looks like we're doing that. We've won back-to-back. We make it 3 straight. It doesn't look like it, so that means we're down to a best of 3. 3 more games left in the first round here. Who's going to be taking game number 5, the most important one? Of course, it's going to be the New York Rangers. Then we're going to close out in game number 6 here, and we're going to move on to the second round. It's that simple. So we took down the Islanders. It was a hard-fought series, but the Carolina Hurricanes are folding in the postseason. That means we're taking on the Columbus Blue Jackets in the second round. So one of 2 things just happened. Either the Columbus Blue Jackets are an absolute dominant force, or the Carolina Hurricanes just completely folded. And I think it's the Columbus Blue Jackets are a dominant force. This team might take us out in a sweep. We're down 3-1 in the series. Columbus is no joke. I was thinking maybe the reason Columbus made it to the second round is the Hurricanes are complete frauds. I have to take it all back. The Columbus Blue Jackets are a powerhouse right now, and they're going to eliminate us in the second round just like that. We're falling. We had dreams of repeating, and the Columbus Blue Jackets, a wild card team by the way, is making it to the conference finals and they're dominating. Alright then. To be fair, they're kind of cheating. They have Carter Hart as their goaltender. So yeah, I'm going to classify that as cheating. The Columbus Blue Jackets are cheating. I guess shout out to the Dallas Stars, Stanley Cup champions. Like, congrats on that. But we got one more year. One more year to win another Stanley Cup here. We've won 1 Stanley Cup in 4 years. But you know what? I think we can win 2 in 5 years. A majority of the teams coming back. We're going to have a massive bounce back season. It just wasn't our year. The boys weren't ready to compete in the big time moments. Goaltending wasn't great. I'm pretty sure we were exhausted after that deep run we made in the postseason last season. We just weren't ready to compete this season. Now, the salary cap did jump up a little bit. We have $6 million to work with. I'll ask Trent Frederick first. Let's see what he's going to be looking for. $4.1 million. Okay, hold on. We have $6.2 million in cap space for this season. But for next season, we have significantly more. We have 10.7. So I think everyone's coming back here. Trent Frederick, I'll give you $4 million for next season. You're going to be accepting that. Niels Höglander, I'll give you $3.5 million for the next 2 years. Yeah, $3.5 million for the next 2 years. Actually, I'll give you 3.6. So you're going to be sticking around here. Then we'll move on to Connor Zary, $1.1 million for the next 2. Everybody's returning. All right, let's run it back with the exact same team. Now, if only we had another season after this one, because this lowly potential player in the first round, he could turn into something, but I guess we'll never know. Now, when I said I'm running it back with the exact same team, I wasn't lying. This is the exact same team as last season. Every player that was on our team last season is on this team right here, and we're going to go win a Stanley Cup, and that includes goaltending. Hold on. It's got to be Jonathan Quick. Jonathan Quick has to be the backup here. Do we have him in the AHL? No, we're not doing that. We are not disrespecting 42-year-old Jonathan Quick. I have more respect for Jonathan Quick than that. I'm not going to have this man rot in the AHL for his final season. I refuse to let that happen. I don't care if he's not the player he used to be. I don't care if he's dropped to a 75 overall. We will respect Jonathan Quick around here, and he will play in the NHL for his final season. Even if he's only a 75 overall, he has earned the right to be a goaltender in this league, and he has earned the right to be our backup. So Jonathan Quick, you're going to be the backup behind Igor Shesterkin once again. The fact that you survived another 5 years actually makes no sense. You are 42 years old. But you know what? you're going to get one last run here. So here we go, year number 5, our final chance to win a Stanley Cup, 6th in the entire league. We won our division, a 48-29-5 record. The team's looking pretty solid. Although we don't have one of the best offenses, we do have one of the better defenses in the league here. And you know what? Zibanejad's going to look great once again. It's going to be another 40-goal campaign. It doesn't look like it. But you know what? We have pretty solid scoring depth throughout the entire lineup here. In the big-time games, you know the big-time player is going to step up. We've seen it once before, but it's got to happen again. Shesterkin's having a much better season. Jonathan Quick, he's not the guy he used to be. A 7-10-1 record, an 897 and a 321. I'm sorry to say, Jonathan Quick, it's your final season in the NHL. Never did I think I would see a season without Jonathan Quick. But you know what? I think it's time for him to retire. Like, bro's 42 years old. Respectfully, probably should have retired 3 years ago. I'm talking in game, not in real life. In game, should have retired 3 years ago. But you know what? That's not the case. We're in the year 2029, and Jonathan Quick is still a goaltender in the NHL. We have the Carolina Hurricanes in the first round. I need 16 great performances. If y'all can give me 16 great performances here, we're going to be Stanley Cup champions. In one of the final games of the season, we beat the Carolina Hurricanes, and it looks like that win streak's going to continue. We're going to take them out in game number 1. Unfortunately, we're dropping game number 2 though, but Shesterkin's going to pick up a massive shot in game 3 here. So far, goaltending's been absolutely immaculate for us, and you know what? That's going to continue. In the last 3 games, we've only allowed 1 goal. Can we make it 4 straight games with great defense? Yes, we can, but we just couldn't find enough offense. All right, the offense has to wake up here. Shesterkin's putting on a masterclass right now, and thankfully we are going to get past the Carolina Hurricanes, but it's not going to be any easier moving into the second round because we're going to be taking on, I thought that would have been enough days, apparently not. We're simulating to the second round, and we got a rematch. We're taking on the Columbus Blue Jackets. Now, we couldn't find an answer for Columbus last season, but you know what? It's a different season. We're going to find an answer for the Columbus Blue Jackets. We're winning the first 2 games. Can we make it 3 straight wins here? Yes, we can. A sweep over the Blue Jackets. The boys are in the conference finals, so we're down to a best of 4. The Colorado Avalanche and Edmonton Oilers, and then over in the East we have the Rangers taking on the Florida Panthers. As I mentioned, I need 16 great games for this team. We've already got 8 great games. Now give me another 8. This last Stanley Cup, it's not just for me. It's not for Igor Shesterkin, who's been amazing. It's for Jonathan Quick. We have to get Jonathan Quick one more Stanley Cup. Game 5 is going to be huge, and unfortunately we're going to drop that one in overtime. We have not been great defensively so far in this series. Up until this point, we were really good defensively, but it's been falling apart. So I need great defense in this game right here. Lundell's going to pick up the first goal. In the second period, Lafreniere is going to respond. So we've had great defense, but now we need even better offense. We have to find an answer, and it looks like we are going to find one. His name is going to be Mason McTavish, but Sean Durzi was also an answer for the Florida Panthers. Overtime's going to settle this one, and in overtime, it's going to be Boquist taking us out. We're going to be falling in our last chance to win a Stanley Cup for Jonathan Quick. The boys are going to be falling here. Over the past 5 years, we made 4 conference finals appearances, but we only made it to the Stanley Cup final once because in 3 of those appearances, the boys folded when it mattered most, and it wasn't even the goaltending most of the time. Like, truthfully, I can't expect more from Shesterkin. He did absolutely everything in his power here. Zibanejad was great, Panarin was great, but what a surprise. Logan Stankoven, Lafreniere, Mason McTavish, y'all folded. It was the second line. The second line yet again let us down. Meanwhile, Shesterkin, 10 wins, 2 shouts, a 926 and a 229. I can't expect more from you. I really can't. You can't do much more here. Like, just look at these postseason numbers. A 927, a 921, a 921, and we were only able to win 1 Stanley Cup here. When it mattered most, this team can never step up in the big time moments, and 95% of the time, it wasn't Shesterkin's fault. It all came down to that second line, which we never addressed. I don't know why I never addressed the second line. I just assume when you have guys like Logan Stankoven, when you have guys like Lafreniere, and you have guys like Mason McTavish, you're going to figure it out. 388 overalls in the second line. I can't ask for much more. Like, unless I'm trading these guys along with 6 first-round picks to get a 90 overall, I can't ask for a better second line. But I don't know if it was the fit between these 3 players. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was the coaching, but something just didn't click here, and that's going to cause us to lose in the conference finals yet again.